Let's carry on. Define purpose. I really want you to understand this, and this is dead serious. There's a spiritual aspect to all things that you're going to be great at. Listen to me. There's a spiritual aspect to all things you're going to be great at. Number one, love money. You have to have a definite purpose about what you're doing. Right now, we're talking about getting money, and it's going to get deeper than love money, but you have to start with love money. And I really mean that. I love money, and I've learned to love money over time because I was raised by, I don't want to say dumb, but shall we say uninformed, mentally impoverished persons. And they would say foolish things like the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. That's so idiotic and negative. They say things like behind every great fortune is a great crime. You broke. Quit lying. Love money. Love money. That's going to keep you after it. Some of you guys love big booties. Me too. I also love thin girls. Anyways, it's going to keep you after it. You need to be motivated at the same level, ideally a higher level. Love money. I said that like 7 times. I mean it. Love money. Don't let it be your God, but let it be close. Let it be a close second. If you love the Lord, let this be a close second, or else you ain't going to get it. And the reason I say you ain't going to get it is because everybody wants some. Everybody wants some. If you don't love it, you ain't going to get it. If you happen to get it, you ain't going to keep it. Because once you got it, people want to get it from you. Huh? So as I said, love money. Doesn't have to be your God. It shouldn't be your God, but it should be very, very close. And if you don't believe in that, you might as well get off this live stream because this is not for you and you ain't going to win. Period. This is not for you and you ain't going to win. And listen to me. You'll never meet someone who has a whole bunch of money that they earned and they don't love money. If they say they don't, they're lying. They're just trying to sound good and sound nice. One thing that I really didn't appreciate is that I'd been lied to so much in my youth. And that's why I always try to tell you guys the bare truth, because there's so many lies going around. Easter Bunny, Santa Claus. That's just the beginning of it. Then the lies get bigger. Like you can go to court and get justice. The lies get bigger. Your vote counts. The lies get bigger. Huh? The world is fair. We're all equal. The lies get bigger. Ain't nothing fair going on. I'm suing a guy right now because he broke my Rolls Royce. We went to court. He was granted a continuance, which means that they're going to push back the court date. He asked for the continuance the day of, and she granted it because his kid is sick. That doesn't make any sense. I'm suing the business. I'm not suing an individual. Number one. Number two, he's been in Vegas a long time. She's been in Vegas a long time. All three of us. She's a power player. He's wealthy. I'm wealthy. But I only been in Vegas for a couple years. She knew him clearly. That's why she granted the continuance. What did I do? I said, okay, you in District 1? Okay, I see you're about to go up for re-election in 2025. I'm going to go ahead and put 50 thou wow against you. You dig? I'm going to figure out who's running against you. I'm going to put 50 thou wow behind them, and I'm also going to publish a whole bunch of articles questioning your integrity. Yeah, we're going to play hardball, and I'm going to get you unelected. And whoever does get elected, I'm going to make sure that they know my face. So if I ever show up in their court, it's going to be all smiles, and I'm going to have favor. There is no fairness. Cash rules. Come on now. Just imagine if the president of the United States can get elected, even though he's incompetent. Of course, a judge can get elected, even if she's incompetent. And if the president can be swayed and, he can have foreign dollars influence him, Russia, Ukraine, China. Yeah, of course, a judge can too. And when she granted that continuance, I knew there was some real scamming going on because you have to make the appeal for the continuance early. And he didn't do that. So I knew that there was some scamming going on. I just hate to be on the wrong side of the scam, but that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, we're going to put some money behind her competitor. We're going to put out some articles about her being a dirtbag. Yeah. And we're going to get her up out of there because an election for a judge, very low voter turnout. Yeah, we can sway that, and we should. Yeah, I want my judges on. Now that I live here and own property here, yes, indeed. But I say that to say this. There's a lot of lying going on, and you need to be aware that if someone is telling you that they don't love money and they have a bunch of money that they earned, they're lying. They love money. One of the biggest lies I ever heard was this: don't follow the money, follow your passion. BS. No, don't follow your passion. Follow what people are passionate about you doing for them. That's called service, serving the market. That'll get you paid. People like to say nice things that don't make any sense. They like to sound good. It doesn't sound good to say, I love money. Doesn't sound good, but it'll get you to the top if you really live by it. Now, number 2, do not lend money unless you're in the business of lending money. Here's what I mean. Some people are money lenders. That's their actual business. They're generally called bankers. Banks are in the business of loaning money. You are not in the business of loaning money. So when your mother, your father, your brother, your cousin, your friend says, hey, can I borrow $1,000? You go ahead and tell them, I ain't got it on me. I'm sorry. I ain't got it on me. I'm busy and broke. I can't do nothing for you. I'm sorry. Could you loan me some? No. Okay. I guess we both down bad then. If you're not in the business of lending money, don't lend money. When banks lend money, they lend it with an interest rate. They give you $100. You got to give them back $120. But you go ahead and lend your cousin $100. And does she give you back 120? No. Does she give you back 100? No. She might not give you back anything. Don't lend money unless you're in the business of lending money. I just saved a lot of y'all a tremendous amount of guap. And Saints, I'm not telling you what sounds good. I'm just telling you what works. I'm just telling you what works, what I know works, not what I'm guessing works, what I know for sure works. Now, check this out. You have to have a definite purpose. Now, I kind of juxtapose these things so that you can understand what I mean. Number 1, definite purpose. It's specific, it's clear, you're certain of it, and you're serious about it. You're certain of it and you're serious about it. I want to get paid $10,000 a day by any means necessary. That's cool. You just got to be serious about what you're saying. So if you say you want to get paid $10,000 a day, it can be done. There are people making more than that per day. Yeah, in real life, there are people making more than $10,000 a day. For sure. No problem. That can be done. But how? How are you going to do that? You always got to have a how. He said, by any means necessary. Okay, cool. That's a realistic how. Well, now we've opened up a lot of opportunities. But the reason I say that, and I say these extreme things, is because if you want to get $10,000 a day, that's a lot of money. And if you say by any means necessary, you should mean it. You should mean that. And then you should find the way that is the straightest path to your goal. So I say set a definite purpose and be serious about it. How much money are we talking? And what is the specific method? If it's by any means necessary, then carry on. Pick the means that's best for you. If you say something like, I want to get paid $10,000 a day, like you say on the lower side, through product-based business, then that's a means. It can be done. You can make $10,000 a day selling chewing gum. You can make $10 a day selling chapstick. You can make $10,000 a day selling fine suits. You can sell just 3 of these suits or 2 of these suits and make $10,000 a day. You only got to sell 2 a day. Figure out what the product is. Figure out how many units of the product you have to sell per day. And we're off to the races. But you have to have a definite purpose. How much money are we talking? And what is the method? Those are the only 2 things you need to start. But here's the funny thing. Most people don't have those 2 things. We don't know how much money we're talking about. And we ain't got specific. I want to be a millionaire. Okay, cool, bro. How much money is that per month? A millionaire. How much money per month do you need to make? Okay, how much money do you need to make every 2 weeks? Great. How much money per day? Fantastic. Now we know how much money per day. How do you bring in your money currently? Okay, you're an Uber driver. How many Ubers would you have to drive to make $1 million a year driving Uber? Okay, we figured out that's not going to work. How else do you make money? And it's okay to ask questions that sound crazy, like how many Uber drives would you have to do to make $1 million a year? That's a question to ask. We know that it's ludicrous, but you should ask it and go through the thought process. Does my financial goal and the current means at my disposal, do they make sense together? And if one of those things doesn't make sense, it has to be adjusted. If $10,000 a day is not realistic, we can adjust it down. We can adjust it up. If the means, product-based business or driving Uber or delivering DoorDash or cutting people's grass or cutting their hair, if that means doesn't make sense for what you're trying to build to financially, you need a new means. And that's okay. All you need now is an expert who can help you define a means. Yeah. We're going to talk about long term. And we're going to have to talk about a little bit of this pimping Because that's what a P is really good at, long-term thinking, always having a trick up his sleeve. But I really want you guys to understand this from a business perspective. And I'm going to relate it to this pimping. I'm going to relate it to taxi drivers. I'm going to relate it to a number of things. And you're really going to grow to understand me. And it's going to change the way you do business and the way you think. You're understanding the difference of a customer and a client, which is critically important. It's also going to underscore how you engage your relationships, knowing that every relationship can be leveraged for business, and it almost always should. I want to be friends with people I can do business with, you dig? Whether we're, in co-investing, whether we're collaborating, whatever the case is. Long term, making money is a long-term play. And when I say long-term, it's not like, oh, you start today, you ain't gonna be rich till you're old. That's not the case. But it's longer term than you're probably thinking. So get used to the fact that you're going to have to invest some time, and it's okay. If you actually do this right, you're going to be well off in your youth. And by youth, I mean you can still run. Time, that's number one. Here's the second piece that's critically important: practice/attempts. When people come to me and they book a consultation at marquettism.com, first thing I tell them is, we want to, as quickly as possible, get you through the full cycle. Ideation, prototyping, negotiation with manufacturers, bulk ordering, market deployment, sales, marketing, customer service. We want to go through that whole thing, and we want to spin through that process as quickly as possible with a number of different products in different product categories, different verticals. Maybe we attempt this 4 different times, 4 different products. Maybe one of them takes off. Cool, fantastic. It doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter, because we're just trying to spin through this process really quickly 4 times to make you good at the process. Once you understand the process, you can produce and sell effectively television remotes, microphones, headphones, suits, whatever you choose to do. If you understand the process, it requires practice. The problem is that people want to win without practicing. In what game can you win without practicing? Can you pick up a basketball for the first time and start shooting like Steph Curry? No. Business is the same way. If it was easy, everyone would be wealthy. You should be happy. It's not that easy. A Rolls Royce looks great when it's the only one in the parking lot. Rolls Royce looks super average when there's 10 Rolls Royce around. That's why it kills me when I'm in Monaco. You dig? I'm in Monaco. I'm like, damn, Bentley, Rolls Royce, Lamborghini, Bentley. It's like, goodness, it's not even fun no more. I feel like if I drove a Toyota, I'd probably stand out better. Point is this: it's going to take practice and attempts, especially if you're talking about entrepreneurship. You're not going to be great at your first go. And I cannot tell you how many youngsters have come to me, even older people as well. Marquette, I have a brilliant idea. And in my head, I'm thinking, no, you don't. You don't have a brilliant idea. It's highly unlikely that you have a brilliant idea. It's highly unlikely. That's number one. Number two, if in the off chance that you have a brilliant idea, which is a very off chance, you don't know how to execute it. So it doesn't matter if your idea is brilliant, because you don't know how to do it. You don't know how to execute it. You don't know how to make it work. Okay? So practice, attempts, and here's the other thing: study. Yes, you have to learn. You have to have some knowledge. You got to figure out how to do things. For example, the backpack briefcase. Do you know that there's a certain thickness of the leather and it matters? Yeah, there's a certain thickness and it matters. Do you know how many backpack briefcases I created before I put one on the market? I'm working on luggage right now. You wouldn't even know. Yeah, I got 5 sets of luggage that all look the same, but they're not. Different manufacturers, different materials. I got 5 of them. Do you know what it takes to create a good product? The time, the study, the knowledge. Do you know what GSM is? Yeah, the thickness of materials, or the lining of a jacket, how puffy the jacket is. GSM 100, GSM 300. You got to learn it. You got to study. You're not going to just guess your way to the top. Huh? What I'm telling you is that it's going to require some work. The problem is everybody want to get money and get rich without working. It's not going to happen. Now, this might sound strange to you. Do not work for money. Work for goals. See, this one I wish I had a live. This is why I like my conferences. I like my boot camps. When I got my conference, the audience is right there. And then I would ask them, I say, okay, what do I mean? Or what might I mean when I say, do not work for money, work for goals? It's almost like a riddle. It's almost like a riddle. This is what I mean. Say your goal is to be an architect, right? If your goal is to be an architect and you just get out of university with a bachelor's degree in architecture and you go to the best architecture firm in New York and you ask for a job and they say, no, we're not hiring. Cool. Then you go and get a job at Applebee's or whatever, fill in the blank with some irrelevant job. And then I say, okay, hey, what's your goal in life? You say, my goal in life is to be an architect. And I say, okay, well, then why are you working at Applebee's or why are you working at the Apple store? Whatever you're doing, that's irrelevant. Why are you doing that? And you say, well, Marquett, I have to keep my lights on. I have to pay my rent, Marquett. I have to live. Oh, nope. Don't do that. Figure out how to not do that. You're working for money. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. You need to work for your goal, which means go back to that architecture firm, the best one that wouldn't hire you, that told you they're not hiring, that told you that they had no room for you. And you tell that guy, you're not hiring? Fantastic. I didn't come to be hired. I came to volunteer. And God damn it, I'm going to stay here until you give me something I can volunteer at. I don't care if I'm volunteering to watch you guys do your jobs. I'd like to watch that guy over there. Yeah, that guy whose job is architect, because that's the job I want, okay? So let me watch him, and if I can help him do his job easier because he doesn't have to go pick up his coffee or he doesn't have to pick up his dry cleaning or he doesn't have to do fill in the blank, I will do it. But I'm not leaving till you tell me what I can do in here, and ideally it should relate to what he doing over there, okay? And I said, yeah, sure. You're a smart kid. You got a good degree. You got good grades. Yeah, we can use you, but we can't pay you. Cool. Don't pay me then. Use me though. You're working for a goal. You're not working for money. Working for money is a petty thing. You know, you're working for $12 an hour, $30 an hour, whatever it is, 50, I don't care if it's $200 an hour. It's a petty thing. You're working for the goal. That's the key. You're looking long-term. When people are working to keep their lights on, that's not a worthy goal. If that's what you're actually working for, you are living at a low mental level. And here's the problem. If your goal is to keep your lights on, you're going to achieve that goal. And usually you want to celebrate when you achieve a goal. But here's the thing. That's not a good goal to achieve. Yeah, I'm just trying to make ends meet. That's a terrible goal to achieve. I'm just trying to make sure I get my rent paid. That's a terrible goal to achieve. How about a real goal? I'm trying to become the most famous architect in New York and change the face of the skyline. And I'm going to do anything it takes to be that. I'll work for free. And if I do have to keep my lights on, I'll find a job that's after hours so I can volunteer 40 hours a week. And after I'm done volunteering 40 hours a week, on the after hours, I'll work 40 hours additionally a week. Why? Because it takes time and it takes effort and seriousness to get greater things in life. But here's the funny thing. When you do that in the beginning, everything afterward is very easy. Life gets easier. Yes. But you got to put up some work up front. It's kind of like a woman. You know, when you see her in the party, a bunch of guys trying to talk to her, you got to outperform them. You got to put in more work, figure it out. You got to finesse. And then once you get her, now it's easy. You ain't got to do a damn thing. She's yours.